This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
Hey, I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hey, Jason. What's going on, man?
Hey, John, it's going pretty good. So, hey, it's like there's finally a new Marvel movie out in actual theaters. Isn't that great?
Yay. it's to be fair, it's also available via streaming as well. But so it's kind of a dual release, right? But I think you have to pay a premium to watch it on the streaming service. Streamium. It's a streamium.
Yes, it is. It's like I figured, like even though I subscribe to Disney Plus, I figured, well, do I want to give Disney $30 to watch Black Widow like at home, or do I just want to drive 5 minutes to the theater down the street from me and pay $7.50 for a matinee screening? Well, I decided to do the latter, and so that's how I saw Black Widow, and it was pretty good. It's like the biggest issue that you can say with Marvel movies is that the ceiling is relatively close to the floor, in the sense that yeah, you're not going to get like true greatness out of a specific Marvel movie, but you're also going to get something that's like generally terrible as well, and that's true of Black Widow as well. It's like the long time we've been waiting a while for Scarlett Johansson's Natasha Romanoff to get her own movie. And it finally happened. A year after it was initially set to debut in theaters, but it's like overall it's pretty good. It's an interquel basically taking place between the events of Captain America's Civil War and in Avengers Infinity War. Basically shows you what she was up to while she was basically on the run from just about everyone. It's like every major intelligence agency in the world. And it turns out that even though she was just trying to find some quiet time to herself in Norway, well, it turns out that it's like her old family commitments weren't about to let that happen, because it's like, as we found out in the opening sequence way back in the day, she was part of a family unit in America, that was just a Russian sleeper cell. It's like, and that her mom and dad and sister were all just basically just meant to pose as a as an American nuclear family, like up until the point that they got the intel that they needed and they had to go back to Russia, and that's when Natasha was basically subsumed into the Red Room and turned into the Russian super agent that we all know and love today. And it's like seeing her reconnect with her quote unquote family in the movie was pretty fun, and offered some genuine comedy. It's like, yeah, as things went on, and there was also and the film also offered up some feels like a pumped up James Bond movie as well, especially when the Taskmaster shows up, because while the Taskmaster in the film is is much different than what we've seen in the comics. It's like I liked the feeling that this version of the character was basically presented as kind of like the Terminator. It's like whenever the character shows up, it's kind of like, oh man, it's like Natasha and Elena are kind of screwed when that happens. So there's this nice vibe right there up until the real identity of the Taskmaster is revealed, and then you realize, oh, so if I applied the law of character economy here, I should have been able to figure out who this character was. But overall, it was a good solid movie that didn't offer any real outlandish surprises. And filled in the gap for the character. And gave her a nice family unit that I liked seeing in action. Florence Pugh as Natasha's sister Elena, was likably flinty. As was David Harbour as the Red Guardian. It's like the guy who thought he was Russia's answer to Captain America, but soon found out that, oh nope, that wasn't it. As was and Rachel Weisz's mother. It's who she was the brains of the outfit, but eventually found out that she was kind of expendable to the Russian cause as well. But overall, it was fun, and I will say that the post-credit scene does a great job of setting up the Hawkeye series that's going to come to Disney Plus, like in the near future. Yeah, but as far as the comics that helped set this up, which I'm hoping is what you're all here to talk about. Well, first and foremost is the Black Widow series, the original Black Widow series from Marvel Knights way back in the mid '90s from Devin Grayson and J.G. Jones. Because this 3-issue series was not only meant to set up reestablish Natasha like for a modern at the time Marvel audience, but it also was Yelena Belova's first appearance. And this 3-issue series like is a decent enough like action series, as Natasha basically is recruited to steal this virus that basically gives a person like 2 minutes of like super soldier rage strength before turning them into a corpse. And both the Russians and the Americans think that, hey, like maybe we can use this to our advantage. But the thing is, even though Natasha's been recruited to do this by the American side, well, the Russian side has also recruited their own person operated to do this, and that is Yelena Belova, basically the new Black Widow. So basically what we've got here is basically a standard, it's like, the established heroine is now being faced with the new and upcoming character. So it's fine. It's like it's a standard, like, hey, it's like hey, it's like, Tasha's like having to fight off the next generation and show that she's still got it, which she does. It's like, and this 3-issue series was fine, and I gotta admit that even with J.G. Jones's cheesecake tendencies, the guy's got like some real like spectacular action chops when it comes to like delivering like quality superhero action. Still though, it's like I think that the follow-up series that was co-written by Devin Grayson and Greg Rucka, Breakdown, is probably the more interesting series. Even it's like probably more like messed up for reasons that maybe are not quite as intended by the creators, because this follow-up series basically takes the plot of Face Off. It's like, well, basically what happens when Yelena basically wakes up, is assaulted by agents in the middle of the night, and basically wakes up with the face of Natasha. So she's determined to play the espionage game, and at the same time, like, Natasha, who is taking Yelena's face, is also trying to use that for her own purposes as well. The plot is basically kind of meant to show that, meant to illustrate to Yelena that, hey, this is what espionage is really like. We're doing like the hard choices to show you what the spycraft game is really like. And hey, this may mean that you have to get kissed by Daredevil and like it too. Yeah, this is really what happens. And it's like, on one hand, it's like, it's kind of like this kind of it's like uncertainty. It's like is kind of refreshing for a superhero story, but it's also kind of like, hey man, this is also kind of really messed up as well. It's like, and you're kind of wondering if they really meant to just completely just trying to destabilize Yelena. It's like just for shits and giggles. It's like as the plot demands. That does make it interesting. It's like, and it's like, and more compelling, really. Even if it's like, it's kind of, it's like even the end result basically doesn't have a whole lot to say about what it means for each character to be each other. Still though, I really like the art from Scott Hampton, who gives it a solid grounded look. It's like, and in fact, I generally like Hampton's work in general. It's like, and I kind of wish he'd do more superhero work, because it's like his work is like a nice interesting contrast from the over the top stuff that we saw from J.G. Jones, which is solid on its own terms, but I honestly kind of prefer Hampton's work in the back half of this series. But basically, these two stories can be like I originally bought them in like a like in a 1 volume collection, but there was also a third mature reader story done by Rucka and Igor Corday called Pale Little Spider that basically sought to further establish Elena's spycraft credentials, and it was also pretty entertaining as well. I believe that that series may be collected in an all-in-one edition. It's like that collects all 3 miniseries. If not, you can probably find it on sale on Comixology right now as well. But yeah, like these Grayson and Jones were credited in the in the movie in the credits, as were Richard K. Morgan and Bill Sienkiewicz for their Black Widow series from the mid-aughts. Now, Natasha hasn't really had like a long history of like supporting a like an ongoing title. Like she's basically like for most of her like existence, she's basically like been a guest star in other titles like Avengers or Daredevil, or whatnot. It's like, and it's only been with the advent of the Marvel Cinematic Universe that Marvel has actually tried to give Natasha her own ongoing series. With this Black Widow miniseries, Homecoming, from Richard Morgan and Sienkiewicz, with it's worth noting that Sienkiewicz only does full art for the first issue, and Goran Parlov provides the layouts for the for most of the subsequent issues, and Sienkiewicz just basically does his thing over them. But Homecoming is actually pretty integral to the Black Widow movie, because it's basically responsible for the retcon that Natasha was not the only Black Widow to come out from the Red Room. Yes, we knew about Elena, but it turns out that the Black Widow program was actually responsible for multiple people to do this, and that Elena was basically specifically designed to just to try and usurp Natasha's role. And also, there's a specific bit of plot at the end of the movie about the pheromone lock that comes directly from this miniseries as well. But basically, what's it about? Well, it's basically all about Natasha finding out that other Black Widows are being killed. It's she's got to go rogue and find out just why these people are being why these other widows are being killed, and why, and who would want them dead. The essential her path leads her down down a big old international espionage rabbit hole. It's of international manipulations, and it's big pharma manipulation, because it turns out that that a lot of the Black Widow tech that she was implanted with, or stuff that was used to make her, has been shadily bought by a big American cosmetics corporation, and they realize that, hey, if it turns out that the stuff that we use to make our cosmetics is essentially revealed to be part of a big commie plot from back in the day, well, it's that's going to be kind of a bad thing. So they want her taken out, but Natasha is not so easily taken out. Homecoming is a pretty solid series that Morgan demonstrates some pretty impressive feminist self-awareness as to what her role is in in this world. And it's pretty entertaining as well, as is in Sienkiewicz's art, with when in the first issue when he's doing it himself, or with Parlov's layouts, has that nice impressionistic feel that's always appreciated from his work. So yeah, it's if you're wondering where certain plot elements from the Black Widow movie came from, well, it's Homecoming has you covered. And you can but the thing is though, it's like that this was originally meant to be a like trilogy of like a miniseries, and it's a trilogy that only 2 parts are made. It's like because the follow up, the things they say about her, um, well, basically like follows up on like what what some of the like what like some of the villains that Natasha like put the screws to in the first miniseries. Well, now they're coming back for payback. It's like, and also it's like like Elena, it's like who was like kind of dismissed in like the first in the first series. It's like, well, like she like she wants to have she's working with Natasha. And it's like they're friends now. It's like and she wants to have her. It's like it's like do some favors for her that will help some of the girls she's working with out. It's like it's not bad, but it's kind of undercut by the fact that but by the end of it, it's like a lot of the characters are still left in the wind. You're kind of wondering what's going on, what's going to happen to them, but you're just kind of assume that like, oh, everyone got back to doing what they were doing in their day jobs, and that's it. And it's also worth noting though that instead of Gorn Parlov for the second miniseries, one of my favorite artists, Sean Phillips, was providing the layouts for this second miniseries. And well, it's like while Sinkovich impresses identity over Parlov's work in the original miniseries, Phillips's work, well, for whatever reason, it's like it's still recognizable. It's like in like over the course of this series, which I like, and is generally pretty nice overall. It's like I would like to see what they would do for a third miniseries, but well, that was just not to be in the cards after the sales of this one were like way down over the first one. It's like, and it's like that's been kind of like what the status quo, that was the status quo for Black Widow. It's like like for a while after that, like we only got occasional one shots, like and it's like and miniseries such as Black Widow Deadly Origin from Paul Cornell and Tom Rainey and the late great John Paul Leon. This Cornell and Rainey were credited in the credits for the movie. Why Leon wasn't, because even though he provided art for like about 20 pages of this of this mini series. It's like I don't know, but it's disappointing. But Deadly Origin basically kind of represents the most recent take on Natasha's origin in an attempt to synthesize like her diverse history, from that stretches all the way back from being a from being a child, like a child recruit of the Red Room, to fighting as an adult in World War II. And well, as we find out that she's given a special Soviet knockoff version of the super soldier serum, in order to basically to explain how she could have been fighting in World War II, as comics have basically showed her to have done. It's and look relatively youthful in today's in today's comics. But Deadly Origin is a generally fun story. It's and Cornell is a writer who I've always liked his Marvel work from Captain Britain and MI13 from his Pete Wisdom series. It's and his 2-year run on on Wolverine. So it was I went into this one with with open eyes. It's and I generally pretty much enjoyed it. I mean, the opening scene is kind of very, it's kind of very British, in the sense of Natasha's engaging in the game of one-upsmanship with the fighter pilot she's trying to outsmart. It's and it eventually leads into a phone call reunion with a guy that she with Ivan. It's her her guardian / father figure from her days in working for Russia, and he tells tells her on the phone that like the ice pick protocol has been activated. It's like just before he's like shot to pieces, and it's like in the comics panel that we see. So now Natasha has to figure out just what this ice pick protocol is, and why Ivan had to die for it, or if he even did die for it. So Deadly Origin is like it's a fun little miniseries that basically brings Natasha's origin, working for the Russians during World War II, then as a Russian spy, and with the event working to infiltrate the Avengers, and then eventually defecting to America, because she eventually believes in the whole in the superhero ideals that that they've been espousing. That just the idea that and especially spelled out that hey, she's one who's going to choose mercy and generousness over just ruthlessness, unless the people fighting against her do otherwise. So yeah, it's I'd recommend checking out this series, because it's basically her most current origin story. It's and it's a fun one too. Probably a bit more fun than the Black Widow series from Mark Waid and Chris Samnee that came out a couple of years ago. Now, Waid and Samnee at the time were riding high off their success on Daredevil, which, after having reread last year, I have to say that it holds up. It's their work on that series is a great example of just constantly trying to subvert superhero convention. It's and just just looking at taking your expectations and just giving them a nice solid twist. Black Widow isn't quite on the same level. It's I gotta admit that Waid and Samnee do a good job of giving us some great spy action. It's the first issue is basically just one big action sequence as Natasha has to break out of Shield headquarters. It's which is basically one of the helicarriers. It's because apparently she's Shield's realized that she's been spying on them, and they want her dead, because it turns out that a Russian officer by the name of the Weeping Lion has some dirt on her. It's and he's using that to force her to do his dirty work. Now the 11 issues that follow, it's are basically kind of more of the same. It's just the Natasha finding herself in in a big action sequence and just trying to using your smarts to get out of it, and also finding out that oh no, it's the Red Room is being reestablished. And that now they're training a whole new generation of of Black Widows. This time they're just a bunch of 12-year-old girls who are just going to use their wiles to for their evil new headmistress. So the series is fine. It's entertaining, but in terms of offering real surprises, or stuff I wasn't expecting to see, it's not on the same level as Waid and Samnee's Daredevil work. So that's a bit disappointing. I mean, it's definitely not a bad series. The level of craft that the creators invest in this series is definitely too high for me to completely write this off. But overall, it's probably not. It's not I'd say a career high for either of them. Well, I wouldn't mind seeing. I'd like to see what they would have done together after this, but after that, Waid basically is sticking with Marvel for future projects, and Samnee is now working with Marvel Kirkman on the pretty great firepower over at Image. So overall, it's they're both trying to do their best from here on out. But as far as modern stuff, well, I did take the chance to read the first first arc of Kelly Thompson and Elena Casagrande's Black Widow series, it's like on Marvel Unlimited, because hey, if I can do this. I was thinking of buying Deadly Origin on Comixology until I realized, wait a second, I've got Marvel Unlimited. I can just read it on that. In fact, I should probably just go and read the first arc of Thompson's Black Widow series, like just see what that was like. Well, this first arc is kind of interesting because the first issue has after Tasha pulls off a pretty simple smash and grab mission, she's taken out when she returns home, and then when she wakes up, well, she's living a dream life, just basically working as an architect, married to a great guy, and they've got a great kid as well. It's like she's just living the dream, and so much so that when Hawkeye and the Winter Soldier find out wait, Natasha's not dead, she's still alive somewhere. Well, she's and then they find out that, oh well, she's actually looks really happy like this, and you kind of, in fact, so happy that even when you see the moments when her her ruthless secret agent persona reasserts itself, like when some girl is being assaulted in an alley, and she just busts out some martial arts moves to take all those guys out. You kind of feel bad about the fact that, oh well, she's gonna lose this happiness because she's eventually gonna remember who she is, and that that great husband and that wonderful Houdini-like kid of hers. It's like are gonna wind up being separated as well. And that's kind of sad. And it's a great setup for initial arc, up until you realize that this has been a plot by the bad guys, and this is basically their plan to take Natasha off the board, which on one hand makes absolutely no sense when you realize that in order to do this, it's they had to indoctrinate her over and do some surgical intervention. It's over a couple of weeks. When you realize that, okay, if they had Natasha at their mercy to this point, well, why not just kill her and be done with it? It's I mean, okay, maybe there'd be some superhero resurrection protocol that would cause them trouble down the line. But at the same time, it's no, it's it kind of feels like writer Kelly Thompson was kind of working backwards from an idea of what would it be like if Natasha was completely happy. It's and then had that happiness yanked away from her by the people as a supervillain plot. And it's it only works if you're willing to overlook the fact that that the bad guys could have taken her out rather than just rather than their stated plan of hey, we're gonna subdue her by just giving her everything she wanted. And then some of the bad guys realize hey, you know what, we don't want her happy, we're gonna kill her. Well, why didn't you kill her in the first place? So it's this is a series that I probably would have written much more harsher things about had I actually paid money for it. But since I'm reading this on a Marvel Unlimited, I gotta admit, it's just kind of a minor disappointment. It's I mean, I like the idea of Natasha getting a thoroughly happy life, and then having that yanked away from her because she's forced to go back to her her superhero day job. But as it is, it's just kind of frustrating that that it just doesn't work. That you have to undergo those mental gymnastics in order to make it work on in your own head. So, but overall, it's Black Widow's had lots of tries to make her go as a as an ongoing series or even series of miniseries, and it's been kind of it's been kind of tough, really. It's like, and to be honest, like I think that we wouldn't have had a lot of. She probably wouldn't have gotten that chance at a ongoing series if it hadn't been for the fact that like shoot like that her character that Scarlett Johansson's take on the character has been so so popular in in the MCU. Like that's why we're now getting Natasha having multiple ongoing series where she originally only rated mini series back in the days of Marvel Knights and back in Richard K. Morgan's mid-aughts reboot of the character. Well, it's only been now because of her success in the MCU that we're getting that she's getting the full ongoing series treatment, which is kind of a mixed bag right now. But overall, it's like I can't say that it's like her. It's like what I've read of her her series has been kind of like a recipe for for success. But I have to admit, I appreciate Marvel at least throwing solid talent at the character. It's in order to make things work. I can only hope that at some point someone is going to come upon a take on the character that is going to galvanize the comics reading fan base, and by extension will eventually trickle up into the into the MCU. Because well, it's as it is, it's I don't know, it's well, Natasha's tenure in the MCU appears to be over, but it's I have to admit that it's Florence Pugh as as Elena. It's I'd definitely like to see more of her. It's more of her. It's and it wouldn't surprise me that it's at some point we're going to get to see a take on her as the new Black Widow. It's especially if she proves to be as entertaining in the forthcoming Hawkeye series. It's as she was in the movie. So there you go. But if you're gonna buy one series from here, I guess I'd recommend either the original Grayson Rucka series, or the or Deadly Origin from Paul Cornell, Tom Rainey, and John Paul Leon.
Well, that sounds like quite a recommendation. So, yeah, interesting. So, do you know what you're going to be talking about next time?
Next time, it's I've got some ideas, but I may just use next time to vent about my thoughts about G. Willow Wilson and Christian Ward's Invisible Kingdom, which has some real anti-capitalist momentum to its setup, but doesn't really actually deliver in the end. But that I could think of something else besides that, but well, we'll see, because I'm also want to talk about Ta-Nehisi Coates' Black Panther run. It's and there's also the King in Black and X-Men's Hellfire Gala to talk about as well. So it could be a variety of things, but I'm sure I'm get to talk about all these things. Oh, as well as the King in Black Marvel event as well. So there you go.
All right, we'll catch you next time on Comic Picks by the Glick.
Laters.